Sefer Devarim, Parshat Haazinu, on a Torah life. Here, by the climax of the Torah's narrative, we've already received almost all the laws of the Torah. But why? Moshe explains to the people, Vayomer aleihim simu levavchem l'chol hadavarim asher anochi me'id b'chem hayom, asher titzavum et b'neichem lishmor lasot et kol divrei haTorah hazot. Take to heart all the words which I have warned you this day. Enjoin them upon your children, that they may observe faithfully all the terms of this teaching. Ki lo davarekum mikem, ki hu chayechem udavar hazeh tarichu yamim al ha'adama asher atem ovrim et hayarden shama larishta. For this is not a trifling thing for you. It is your very life. Through it you shall long endure on the land that you are to possess upon crossing the Jordan. It is your very life, we learn. The Torah is not merely an empty thing or just one of the many aspects that make up our life. It is our life itself. In all of our ordinary lives, we often struggle to find meaning, knowing that we're going to die and feeling that nothing we do has any meaning. It is Torah, the Jewish tradition teaches us, that can turn our dead life into a living one. The response to the crushing feeling that life is short, painful, and futile is the transmission of eternal meaning through the Torah. It is through the Torah that we can draw down holiness to turn a dark life meaningful. Moshe tells us that it will prolong your days. Yes, we can read that as saying it leads to a life lasting more days and years. But also the Torah leads us to a life in which every day is more filled with infinitude. Torah is the tool by which we attach our lives to the eternal. While the Torah does teach us all kinds of lessons about ethics and justice, it also shows us that being a good person is not enough. It is insufficient for us to be honest, kind, and humble. That might make one a good human being, but it doesn't necessarily make one a fulfilled human being. In Judaism, fulfillment comes from ensuring our virtues live beyond ourselves in the form of continuous commitment, which we achieve through the transmission of the Torah from generation to generation. It's one thing to stave off death, to try to lengthen our life as much as possible, but it's another to attach this life to an eternal life. By enriching every day with more of the essence of life itself, we can live not just longer lives, but fuller lives. True, there is the cliche that Judaism is not about the otherworldly, that it is about the life we're given here and now. And this is not wrong, of course. The practical sense of the Torah is indeed all about how we can live peacefully and fairly and justly. But Deuteronomy fills out the fact that Torah contains both an earthly dimension and a heavenly dimension. It is a practical guide to our daily lives, and it is a profound religious tradition. It is by infusing the earthly with the heavenly that we carry out the mission with which the Torah tasks us. These elements are inseparable. While in our modern world, it's easy to separate the traditions of eschatology, mysticism, and theology from the realm of rules and ritual, the Torah reminds us that there is really no separation. Things like prayer, daily moral living, and food ethics, though seemingly unrelated, are all tied together in that they teach us how to bring consciousness of the eternal to our everyday lives. The Torah lengthens our days in that we use it to make every day worth an eternity. And what an odd point in the Torah's narrative this is for Moshe to give us this message. We're about to enter the land of Israel, Eretz Yisrael, about to take on a whole world of practical challenges such as safety, agriculture, and running a government. In such a revolutionary moment, we might think this is the only thing that really matters, the practical. Yet Moshe reminds us that we're to be rooted not just in a constitution or an instruction manual, but in a spiritual technology that allows us to change the nature of life and time itself. The Torah provides us with the crucial reminder that next to life and eternity, the current moment all but disappears, And it is only by preparing ourselves and our children for a future beyond the present that the current moment can be imbued with its own sense of eternality. My mind goes to raising children. Yes, we want them in sports programs and music lessons, and we want them to go to college and have successful careers. But hands down, the most important thing we can do for them is show them how to keep Torah alive. By this, I mean we can give them the tools to handle a rich moral and spiritual tradition that they continue to reinterpret as they find new meaning in their lives and actualize their unique opportunities. Yes, our children's lives should be long, but they should also be full. It is no different for ourselves. If your cardiologist were to tell you that a medication could expand your life from 75 years to 85 years, you would certainly hear them out. But if your financial advisor were to present you with a path for an earlier and more stable retirement, you would certainly consider it. Here our teacher is Moshe, who tells us not how to live a little longer or to be a little richer, but how to turn our finite lives into ones attached to the eternal. And now with Moshe gone, we must repeat that message to ourselves and to our children to ensure the chain continues unbroken. Here at the apex of the Torah's story, Moshe tells us the takeaway is that we must teach it to our children. Moshe restates what God says about Abraham back in the book of Genesis. I have singled him out that he may instruct his children and his posterity to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is just and right, in order that the Lord may bring about for Abraham what has been promised him. We're given the challenge of passing on the Torah in our parenting and also in our Jewish communities, in our cities and in the world. Over the millennia, we've gotten fairly good at increasing the quantities in our lives, the number of years we live and the amount of resources we have. The Torah begs us not to lose sight of the qualitative. The earthly must be imparted with the spiritual. The legal must be experienced through the theological, and universal ethics are realized through the eternal tool of the Torah. Shabbat Shalom.